Good morning and a very warm welcome. You're watching Janata Television HD and this is the English Bulletin with me, Prajwal Nepali. The top stories first. Nepali Congress General Convention kicks off. Prime Minister Deuba urges party activists to choose leadership unanimously. Ministerial portfolio of Lumbini province changed again. Chief Minister Kesey still holds 9 ministries. Health Ministry to start clinical trial of vaccines. Government says trial against SARS, CoV-2 and cholera will begin in 2 weeks. EU ministers outline conditions for relations with Taliban, demand respect for human rights and rule of law. And Mexican boxer dies after knockout in Montreal. WBC pays tribute to the boxer. And now the news in detail. Nepali Congress President Sherbahadur Deuba has urged the party rank and file to conduct the party's 14th General Convention in a unified manner. Prime Minister Sherbahadur Deuba made such call while inaugurating the party's ward-level convention at Katunje of Surya Municipality 5, Bhaktapur yesterday. A report. Nepali Congress President Sherbahadur Deuba expressed the belief that the party's General Convention will consolidate internal democracy. He suggested electing the party's leadership unanimously through the General Convention to give the message of the unity, stating that the General Convention had to be organized amid the risks of coronavirus infection. For saving the party's legitimacy, the NC President called upon all to participate in the General Convention, fully abiding by safety health protocols. Prime Minister Deuba said that the Nepali Congress would make a strong presence in the upcoming election. The process for the General Convention had started, he said, adding that the party move ahead more vigorously by electing the leadership through a democratic system. NC Central Member Ananda Prasad Dhungana said the NC remains as the country's oldest democratic party and the success of the General Convention is connected to the future of the nation's democracy, he added. Ministerial portfolios of Lumbini province has been changed for the second time. As per recommendation of Chief Minister Kulprasad Kesey, Province Chief Amik Sherson on Friday made the changes in the work division and responsibilities of some ministers in the incumbent cabinet. Province Chief Sherson made the changes in the cabinet formed on August 12 in line with Article 168(9) of the Constitution, reads a press statement issued by the Province Chief Office. Minister for Economic Affairs Krishna Dhoj Khadka has been entrusted with additional responsibility of the Ministry of Cooperatives. The government on September 8 had decided to increase the number of ministries to 13 in the province. Additionally, the government also decided to merge the Cooperative Ministry with the Minister of Economic Affairs. Ajay Bahadur Sahi, who was the minister without portfolio earlier, has also been provided with the portfolio of the Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Supplies, added the press release. Likewise, Minister for Urban Development, Dilli Bahadur Chaudhary, has been given additional responsibility of the Ministry of Tourism, Rural and Urban Development. Chief Minister of the province, Kesey, is still taking additional responsibilities of 9 ministries. The Ministry of Health and Population is preparing to start clinical trial of vaccine against SARS, CoV-2 and cholera. Nepal Health Research Council is set to initiate the clinical trial of mRNA and cholera vaccines against the 2 diseases. A meeting of the Council of Ministers on 26th of August 2021 decided to give permission for clinical trial of vaccines against these diseases. Executive Director of the Council, Dr. Pradeep Gyawali, said the trial of both vaccines would be started in 2 weeks. According to him, the clinical trial of mRNA vaccine would be conducted at the Dharan-based BP Koirala Institute of Health Sciences and that of cholera vaccine at Dhulikhel Hospital, Kanti Children's Hospital and Nepal Ganj Medical College as well as BK Koirala Institute in collaboration with Devrali Janata Pharmaceuticals. This is the 3rd phase of the clinical trial after the successful trial of first and second phase by the vaccine producing company. Dr. Gyawali said that the trial of mRNA vaccine against coronavirus infection produced by the Walvax company of China is to be held in Nepal. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. The government yesterday confirmed a total of 1,756 new cases of COVID-19 across the country. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, the number of active cases of coronavirus has dropped to 33,000. The ministry said in a virtual press meet that 2,274 people recovered from the disease yesterday. According to the ministry, the recovery rate in Nepal is 94.3%. A total of 723,456 people have recovered from the disease in the country so far. Meanwhile, the disease claimed lives of 23 people yesterday, taking the death toll to 10,809. Currently, 540 infected people are receiving treatment in intensive care units of various hospitals and 156 are receiving ventilator support. Likewise, 30,662 are in home isolation, 2,344 in institutional isolation, and 274 in quarantine facility. On Friday, the government vaccinated 164,302 people against the infection. And now the news from economic front. The number of tourists visiting Nepal has reached 66,966 by the second quarter of 2021. Although the number of tourists visiting Nepal declined significantly with the outbreak of COVID-19, the tourism industry has seen visitors, especially for trekking and mountaineering. According to the Nepal Tourism Board, the highest number of tourists arrived in March and April. In April, 22,540 tourists visited Nepal, and in March, the number of tourists visiting Nepal was 14,977. Most of the tourists were in Nepal for trekking. Mount Everest as well as other peaks and mountains also tend to be crowded with the climbers during this period. According to the Nepal Tourism Board, 5,917 tourists visited Nepal in August 2021. Tourists have come to Nepal from 33 countries. The lowest arrival of tourists was recorded in June with just 1,143 visitors. In 2019, Nepal had the highest number of visitors with around 1.2 million tourists. Since then, the number of tourists visiting the country has been steadily declining due to the coronavirus pandemic. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back. Now the international news. European Union officials on Friday listed a set of conditions for defining the US level of engagement with the Taliban as the new rulers of Afghanistan. According to the Associated Press, the terms and conditions include respect for human rights and the rule of law. Following the Afghan government's collapse last month, the 27-nation bloc and its member countries have evacuated their diplomats from Afghanistan. But EU officials have said they're willing to cooperate with the Taliban now that they have returned to power. The EU is focusing on delivering humanitarian aid as well as guaranteeing the safe passage out of the country of Afghan collaborators and employees who were left behind during the airlifts from Kabul. They are also trying to prevent a mass exodus of refugees that could prompt another migration crisis in Europe. Following meetings with European foreign affairs ministers in Slovenia, EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell said that to test the Taliban's goodwill, the bloc would use several benchmarks. They include a guarantee that Afghanistan won't become a base for the export of terrorism to other countries, a commitment to free access for the humanitarian aid deliveries, and adhering the standards in the areas of human rights, rule of law, and press freedom. You're watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. A teenage boxer has died 5 days after being knocked out in the professional fight. Mexican welterweight Jeanette Zacarias Janata was knocked down in the 4th round against Mary Pierre Hall at the GVM Gala International in Montreal on Saturday. She was 18 years old. She appeared to have a seizure after being dazed by a left uppercut and a right hook and was taken to the hospital. The fight promoter, Yvon Michel, announced the news on Thursday. He confirmed the news in statement after learning about the fate of the boxer from a family member. The entire team is extremely distressed by this painful announcement, the promoter said in the statement, offering condolences to the fighter's family. Holt reacted on Instagram, saying how upset he was at the outcome. The WBC also paid tribute to Zapata, saying the president of the WBC, Mauricio Suleiman, and the entire boxing family affiliated with the WBC, as well as all the boxing, mourns this irreparable loss. We're at the end of Janata Bulletin and the headlines once again. Nepali Congress General Convention kicks off. Prime Minister Deuba urges party activists to choose leadership unanimously. Ministerial portfolio of Lumbini province changed again. Chief Minister Casey still holds 9 ministries. Health Ministry to start clinical trial of vaccines. Government says trial against SARS, CoV-2 and cholera will begin in 2 weeks. EU ministers outline conditions for relation with Taliban, demand respect for human rights and rule of law. And Mexican boxer dies after knockout in Montreal. WBC pays tribute to the boxer. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website at janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television HD. Thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Namaste.